What's going on, guys? Today we're fitting our 12.1 inch Android display to this 2020 Y62 Patrol. This system will work on the Patrol and the Armada and also the Infinity system. So if you're not sure, just drop a comment below or link in the description for this screen. I'll have some drop downs in there as well for picking your model of car. But today we'll go through the full install, go through some settings with you guys. I'll show you how to pretty much do everything, and yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right guys, so here is the package. This is what it looks like inside. Obviously we've got the two phone pieces holding in the screen, and then all the wiring, which we'll go through. Okay, there it is out of the box, and this will basically replace most of the center part of the dash, retaining the factory air vents and the factory hazard light button. Okay, so in the box we've got GPS antenna, microphone, got some USB retention parts here, so you can retain the factory USB ports, aftermarket USB, Wi-Fi antenna, AV inputs. This is line out as well, so if you wanted to use aftermarket amplifier or something like that, you can. And we've got a few different power harnesses here, which we will look at. Alright guys, so just like our integrated Apple CarPlay system, we do need to remove most of this stuff here. We actually need to remove a little bit more. Video for the CarPlay is in the description, as well as in the top right hand corner. To start removal, what we want to do is pull down on this little gear boot right here, remove the tab, and gear selector comes out. Once that's out, this panel right here is all clips, so you can even use your hands just on one side. You want to pull up, and then there's 3 plugs. There's a plug right here and 2 right about here. Once those plugs are unplugged, you can remove this panel completely, and then once this panel's out, these two are next. So we'll look at that together. Okay, once you've got the center part out, these panels here, they just come from the back corner. They come out, so out towards you, and then back. Just like that. There's locating tabs right here, so you just need to maneuver it the right way. Okay, just like that. Once those are out, you've got 2 screws holding this panel in here, so this panel will be removed. Then we've got 2 plugs on the back of that, and just so you know, this will try to come out with it, this panel here, but it's separate. Okay, they don't come out together. This and that are separate. Once this one's out, we'll put that away. Then we've got 1, 2, 3 screws that'll take this panel out here. Then we've got another 2 screws behind it holding the screen in. You can get rid of the screen, and then we'll remove this and the radio as well. And then the last thing we need to remove is this radio itself. Okay, once you've got the radio out, this module right here is held on with 2 Torx bolts. So you need to undo those Torx bolts, remove this, plug it back in to the plug that it was plugged into, and that will be mounted somewhere here when we go to reinstall everything. Okay, so once that's plugged in, what you need to do is just leave it out for now. We'll get the wiring done, and then when we go to put the new radio in, this needs to get mounted, but it also needs to be out of the way of the module for the new radio, because I was thinking about just here, but I think it's going to be in the way. So yeah, we'll look at that later. Once that's out, this is all the wiring that we're left with, and the wiring up here for the screen. And what you need to do is work out which one of these looms is going to work. Okay, so these 3 harnesses all have listings on them like Tool 2017 7-inch, Tool 2017 8-inch, Tool 2018 power cord. So I haven't worked out how to decipher what harness is used in what car. Video input for reverse camera, 360 camera, all that stuff would be up here. It needs to be. So what I would do was plug in some of the different plugs and find out where the RCA was. And what I found was this big plug that goes up here had the RCA on it for reverse camera, and it made sense that the RCA would be up here because this is where the video signal is, like I said. Then you've got another plug which would go into this one here, and we could say that's where it picks up CAN power, you know, all that sort of stuff. And then down here, there's a couple more plugs. So we've got the power harness, the main power harness, and we've got the antenna adapter. So what we can do now, okay, so I've fished out the plugs from here. I just brought them right down to this area so it's all sort of together. And if you've got a TIL, you'll need this as well. And that's so you can connect the rear screens to work with the big screen here. So, big plug that was in the screen goes to big plug on the new harness. Little plug from the screen goes to new little harness. Then you've got another sort of small plug that goes to this one here, which was the power. You can't really muck it up, they only go into one plug. Okay, then we've got the antenna coming from here, that will go into the antenna adapter. Now, I've said this many times, don't rush putting these plugs in. If it feels awkward when it's going in, so that's perfect. If it feels a bit tight, feels a bit awkward, pull it back out, check your pins. It's going to save you a lot of time later on. Okay, pins all look good, plug it back in. Just coming back to that different harness section here, 2018 power cable. I'm going to go ahead and say this is for your Series 5 Y62 2018 onwards. That has, you know, this exact interior as we've all seen. And these are both labeled 2017, so I'd say this is like a Series 4, Series 3 setup. And so disregard those. Okay, once we've got all of our plugs plugged in, there's one other plug which is a little bit longer. It's this one right here. I've not found anywhere for that to go, so what we'll do is test without it, see what might be missing, and then that will help tell us what hasn't been plugged in. Or this is for a TIL as well, and we can disregard it for the TI. So we'll come back to this one. Everything else is plugged in. We've got two spare cables coming off right here, key 1, key 2. They can just be taped up, disregarded. And then what I'll do is just tape this whole harness up, get it looking neat, and we'll go from there. Okay, we've still got this out because, like I said, we'll have to mount it later. I've taped up a lot of this wiring. Now, that's the main plug for the new radio, RCA for camera. There's another harness coming off here, this small one, that goes into the AC part of the new radio. And I've left some of these plugs here just in case we need them. Okay, then on your AV in plug, you want to look for camera in. Now there's S camera in, so that's secondary. And then there's camera, so that's the main one. So you want to plug this RCA into that RCA. Okay, you can tape that one up. So if you're running a secondary camera, caravan camera, or whatever, you can run it right into the secondary. Then you've got some audio inputs, things like that. We don't need any of them in this case, so we can tape that up. Microphone, you can run this wherever you want. I'm going to put it in the same position that we put our CarPlay microphones, and that's right here behind this panel. So you can see that panel right there. Basically, it just drops out just like that. There's a little ledge in there, and our microphones have clips on them, and we clip it in. This has got double-sided on it, so we can stick it in there as well. Okay, microphone done, nice and easy. And then GPS antenna. We want to get that nice and high, it's double-sided, and we're going to stick that, if you go right in here and go up, there's a flat part on top of the vent. You can stick it on top of that, okay? It actually wedges in there really well. Okay, GPS is mounted, microphone is done. All that's really left is to neaten up this wiring even further, and start looking at fitting the screen and testing our features. Like I said, there was a few things we needed to test, and mounting this as well. So let's go put the vents in the new screen and maybe look at how it's going to work. Before we go too far with any of that, you might want to pop this panel back in place. And you've got 1, 2 clips right there, and another 2 right here, so you can use a plastic tool or a flat blade or whatever you want, and you just want to sort of lightly press on the front of the vent as you unclip these. Okay, and then you'll slowly see them start to release. So that's one side done. So once you've released all 3 clips, they just pop out, then that vent will slide out. That screw you do not need to remove, so you can leave it back. I'll put it back in, and you can leave that in. Okay, they can be fiddly, so just take your time with them. Okay, next up is the hazard light. So that just has 2 clips on either side. You might be able to do it with your fingers. Nope. Maybe. Yep. Okay, so you can squeeze them in and then release. And that'll be your hazard light switch from the factory panel. Okay, now what I've noticed, this is something that you'll need to do. I think it's due to the different types of cars. On a Y62 Patrol, the hazard light doesn't fit all the way. So what you need to do is get a file and just file a little bit of the sides here. Okay, so just with a little bit of filing, now it works. All the other plugs that we're not going to use, that were connected to the factory system, just tape them up. Okay, they're disregarded. Okay, so all you need to do now is fish out your plugs. So we've got, that's our air conditioner cable. Still working out what we're going to do with this if we need it. Power harness, GPS antenna, camera power, main power, aircon power, universal antenna, USBs, which we will need to test, like I said. This here, it comes off this is for the aircon, that's why we're keeping that. You'll need to run this cable sort of down here, because one of those is for the hazard light, which we just looked at. Okay, so that will need to stay around. Whatever you do, don't chop off any of these plugs. Okay, just keep them there. Just tape them up. So what I wanted to do was just get a rough idea on where this is going to sit. Okay, so you can just ballpark it. It's going to sit, okay, about here. Okay, so I'm looking in through here. Now I can see right where the radio module will sit. Two things. One, radio module, okay, which is this guy right here, sits right about there. So we know that this whole area needs to be clear for that. Okay, so that means this can't get zip tied here. So we'll find somewhere else for that. Two, when I did the vents, I just realized the chrome trim on the factory vents, it's held in by 3 screws. I tried to undo one of them, as you saw. Undo all 3 and line it up with this. Okay, it sits on here and they screw up. This is the trim I'm talking about, this chrome right here, or silver. 1, 2, 3, unscrew, pull it off, put it on the new panel, and then screw it up. Okay, just confirmed, this plug right here, which I just lost, right here, you can look for a plug and play plug in this area. If it's not there, in this case it was not, tape it up, okay, put it to the side. That aircon module can literally go straight down to about here, and what you need to do is get some long zip ties and zip tie around the module and around this bracket here. There's a metal bracket in there. Okay, so there's the aircon module, there's your bracket. It's important that you mount it, don't just have it sitting there, because these cars are 4-wheel drives. Okay, they go off-road. You don't want stuff banging around. Okay, look at that. Solid, not going anywhere. Hopefully that is low enough, otherwise that was a bad idea. I think it will be, because the radio sits about here. Alright, everything is in place, so I think we can start mounting and testing. Don't forget your Wi-Fi antenna. So we've got Android coming up, that's good. We just want to test a few features. Okay, there's a lot of this stuff is done through settings, so you'll have to spend time setting them up. So one of the first things I would want to check to make sure that everything is, you know, sort of working is climate. Yeah. Fans working, good. AC, right. Rear dual, so all your factory features are there working on the screen, and then you've also got the physical button so you can turn it off and turns off, okay? This is one of the things that you're going to look at to make sure you've done your wiring correct, because this all runs through like the CAN bus system in the car. So if this was incorrect, then you'd know for sure that if this wasn't working, something's wrong. Radio reception. And sound, of course. Okay, that's good. Steering wheel controls, working, good. So you've got some pictures here. These can be changed, of course. There's a bunch of settings. What I might do is I'll go through, look at all the settings, and then I'll touch base with you guys. Actually, no. Let's test the USBs. Okay, so my first theory for the USB did not work, which was connecting to one of these down here. Okay, I thought because they were close together that they were connected directly to this. They are not. What you have to do is I'll have to untape these. You've got OTG USB, so that's going to be for your CarPlay. No, this does do wireless CarPlay. This is going to be for your CarPlay, data transfer, that sort of stuff. This USB needs to be run somewhere on its own, like you can see for the Car Roberto screen, there's a USB coming out there. You can run it somewhere like that. You can run it to the glove box. wherever you want, but that needs to go somewhere else. And then for the second USB, what you can do is, like I've got it here plugged in, let's plug it in and then run it up to the screen USB. So these are all those connections that were up here at the screen. Plug it into the Bluey, right up here, and that will charge the phone. So you can use 1 and 2 to charge, and then you'll have this secondary one here for data transfer, CarPlay, etc. So yeah, I've got that set up. I'll run this somewhere and neaten up this wiring, and then we can put this back in. Okay, now we're back in. Wiring's neatened up, hazard switch works. We've tested USB, so we'll go on. Make sure my theory is correct. Beautiful. So phone is charging right there through these two. Okay, so we'll go here, go settings. So then you just want to go into Bluetooth. Then you'll have settings, pin code 1234. So you want to find BTFC. All right, we're connected. Now we can go here, we can go apps, we're going to go Z-Link. Okay, I'll unplug the phone so you can see it's wireless. Your phone will come up use CarPlay, which it just did on mine. I hit OK. Then when it's connected, you'll see iPhone come up there, and boom, here you go. We've got CarPlay up on the screen, Spotify. Alright, play some whatever. Good to know. I'll keep testing some of this stuff and I'll touch back with you soon. Oh yeah, also the factory panel that was here has a few of these clips on them. You can remove them, which I've just done, and pop them onto the new panel so that when you're ready to go back together, it'll click in, and it's also held in by screws. And then you can just go back together as same order that we pulled it apart. So screen first, then those leather pieces, then the last piece right there, but we'll time lapse that. So yeah, touch back in a minute. Alright guys, overall the install has been pretty easy. I've just gone through now and tested everything. Steering wheel controls work, reverse camera works. I did have to go through some settings for that. USB is obviously working, we saw that before. Everything seems to be working fine, so what we'll do is I'll get the car back together and then I'll walk you through all the features and how the system works and show you everything working, and we'll go from there. I forgot to say this at the start, but this is our screen, we sell it. Link is in the description below if you want to get it, and also if you have any questions you can drop them in the comments too, but I'll say all this at the end anyway. So let's get this back together. Alright guys, so basically this is your home page. This is how the whole system looks and works when you're on your home screen, and I'll give you a quick rundown on how this works, show you the USBs, and then we'll zoom in and show you some more features there. So going into reverse, that'll bring up your reverse camera just as normal. Okay, there's actually, I just noticed that there's guidelines there, so we want to get rid of those guidelines. Okay, you can go through and change all the views as well. And if you press and hold the source button on the steering wheel, you can quickly switch between views also. Okay, now we'll go back into park, and that'll get us, take about 30 seconds. So what it's showing you is the front screen there. Okay, and then that will go away. If you press and hold the source button again, you can quickly get into the camera image, okay? Single press to get out of it, okay? Then we're gonna go settings, right? And we're gonna go user, track line. Okay, we're just gonna turn that off, nice and easy. Okay, so now, go to reverse. That line's gone, we're just back to the original system, okay? Aircon, so you can go here, you can turn your fan up. Okay, we've got air coming out. You can turn the temperature down, turn the AC on. Yep, you can already feel that cooling down. Okay, so obviously all that works, which is what we want. And then there's also an off button there. If you want to quickly switch it off, you can go ahead and switch that off. Scrolling here won't do anything. Scrolling here, there's a few different photos. I'm sure you could upload your own photos and have them on there as well if you wanted to. You've got navigation, radio, okay, so just using the steering wheel here to control the volume, alright? So we could probably go here. Alright, make sure we're getting radio reception, yep. And there we go, now we've got some radio stations set. We've tested steering wheel controls, I'm going to turn that down, it's getting a bit chilly. Oh yeah, so obviously you've got the hard buttons for your climate as well. Hazard light switch works. Radio music, so you can literally store music on the device and use it that way if you want. Apps will bring you in, so there's a file manager there, you can look through USB. Now we've got one USB running into the glove box, and we've got these two USBs working as well. Okay, so you probably would have seen that from the install. Okay, you got Z-Link here, so you go ahead and click on Z-Link. So connected on the phone, connecting here. Just keep your phone handy because your phone might ask you for another permission, which would be use CarPlay or something like that. Once it connects, you'll see iPhone right here. Now this is wireless, so you can go ahead and turn that off, and there you go. You've got CarPlay now. Turn it up. You've also got a volume control. Play something else. There we go. Sounds great. Obviously, you've got Waze there. Maps. Google Maps, which is here. And there's a bunch of stuff you can use from there, so that's a great feature as well. Home will bring you back to that main home screen, where you've got more apps. Play Store. Okay, so now this is where things get interesting. To access Play Store, Gmail, Google, you can go ahead and download apps like YouTube, Netflix, all that sort of stuff as well. What you need to do is go settings, more settings, boom. Then you've got network and data. Okay, we'll turn Wi-Fi on. We'll go into our phone, we'll turn hotspot on. So then we'll go into here. Now you're going to look for your hotspot. So mine's iPhone. Okay, with your hotspot on, you find it, put the password in, it's authenticating, it's saved. If it says saved, you don't want that, you want to tap on it. It needs to say connected. So it's connecting, boom, connected. Okay, now we can go back to home. Then you can go to apps, so you could probably go straight to apps. You can go, let's say Google for example. YouTube. And boom, you got YouTube right there. You can sign into your own account, so if you want to watch any of your own stuff. Or from apps, you can go to the Google Play Store, sign in, and then download the YouTube app, so you don't need to go into Google Chrome to search it. I'm just doing this quickly for you. And then if we go here, we can just type in, you know, whatever, doesn't matter. Alright, we can catch a copyright claim real quick. Want some Hungry Jacks? Oh, look at that, 46,000 comments. Guys, get me to 46,000 comments. Now we're watching YouTube. Doesn't get much better than that. And that is YouTube, and then obviously Google, Gmail, Play Store, you know, let your imagination run wild. DSP, got audio there if you want to play with it. Play Store again, that's just this. Explorer, that is just that. Bluetooth we looked at. Console. So these are car settings. These are just all the factory settings that you would have had before. I'm just going through now, and you can go and set them as you normally would have. Phone link. This is easy connection. This is for phone mirroring, and this is a good time now to show you that most people will probably tell you that these USBs are incompatible. But all it takes is a bit of time and mucking around and figure things out. There you go. It's going to work with the iPhone, right? It's come up straight away. And the phone is charging, as you can see. So that works. Okay, you can cancel that. Car auto, that's your Z-Link, okay? Now that works wireless, okay? So you plug your phone in. Easy Connection's going to want to play with you, don't worry. It's just going to say waiting, it's not going to connect, okay? It needs to be wireless, but you can charge from here. Worst case scenario, your secondary USB that we've run there, you can connect to CarPlay through that one. And I said this earlier, you can run it, let your imagination go crazy with that. You can put a flush mount here, or you can't actually. You've got to put a new blank in any one of these blanks, and you can run that USB to the blank. Okay, and then last but not least, file manager. Alright, don't go too crazy in here. If you start deleting things, you probably trip the system out. But you know, if you've got a USB, you can go ahead, plug the USB in, it'll come up here. Then you've got all your music, movies, whatever you want, it's all there, you can play with it. And yeah, one last thing. So here's Play Store. I'm not going to sign in, this is for the customer to do. I was going to download an app. Anyway, you can sign in and you can go ahead and download an app. and you can get you a closer look at that screen. Okay, here's a closer look at the screen. There's your home page. Okay, we can go here. Let's show you CarPlay nice and close. So like I said, the first time takes a little bit longer. After that, it's not very nice language, is it? Yeah, there you go. Have I missed anything? USBs work, factory camera works. Okay, we saw that 100 times, I'll show you again. There it is, guys, that is the system. All right, guys, there it is. That is the job done. I know a lot of people have been keen to see this, so here it is. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Very easy install. There was nothing overly hard. It's just one of those things where it will take time and you will need to test things, okay? So like I said, we had those plugs right at the beginning, and then we worked out that the 2018 onwards, you know, that's what's gonna work in most of these Y62 Series 5 Patrols. Yes, it will work in the Armada for people that are wondering, and yes, it will also work in the Infinity carts as well, okay? So just drop a comment below if you're not sure. I'll have this on the website, link in the description if you want to buy this exact screen. This is the one that I will be using. This is the one that we source. Go and buy it, you know, whatever, and we'll give you technical support if you need it. Yeah, otherwise, I hope it helped, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.